Hello friends, Molly Pompadour here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are interviewing 1,000 change agents this year, and today we have Ms. Rae Roach. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Molly. I'm really excited about what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, thank you for saying yes to this opportunity. Can you please share with our audience who you are and the work that you're doing in the world right now?
Certainly. My name is Rae Roach. I'm a guide for women struggling to find their way out of their self-doubt and fear to a place of meaning and joy. As someone who's been through some really hard times, I know what it takes to actually get back to your center, back to your truth, back to your authenticity, and back to who you really are. And what I do is I offer inspirational, transformational speeches, online courses, workshops, seminars that help you redirect and refocus your self-limiting beliefs so that you can actually emerge and shine and be the greatest you could be.
How has that helped you? I mean, I know you've gone through your own personal journey in terms of giving us a storyline of just the feeling and the experience that you have with life now, your vantage point today, having gone through your own development and personal journey with self-worth and learning to love yourself again, really.
Well, we don't have enough time today, but sometimes that journey can be so long and so treacherous and so painful. But what I can tell you is once you get to the other side of through, when you're in that quagmire, that whole self-limiting beliefs, when you get to the other side of that, there's such a sense of peace and a sense of just understanding and a greater sense of who everybody else is and acceptance. Like I look at people now and they're on their own individual journey. I can help them with that if they want me to or not, but their journey is theirs as mine was mine. And if we accept that and acknowledge that and go on that journey, there is such a greatness at the other end that is waiting for you, something that you would never have thought you could experience. And I know that I felt that way. I never thought I could find peace within myself. And I do. And it's so, I don't know how I get so excited when I think about just how I feel and the things around me. I'm in a sense of acceptance of everybody and everything and me, most importantly.
That's great. Well, as you look upon your life with all of the things that you've gone through leading up to this moment today, is there an experience or perhaps some anecdotes that you can share where love and acceptance and empathy really showed up for you and help you to see this beautiful world now through your eyes, because it hasn't always been beautiful?
No. Thinking about this question, there are so many people that have helped me along my way from very early ages to even today. But as I thought back on what truly was the most monumentous help and the most compassion that I had, so I might start crying. Who knew that? There was a time in my life when I had lost my house and I had absolutely nowhere to go. I had my two small children. Well, they were 14 and 16 at the time, not too small. I literally had nowhere to go. And my mom had flown in from Oklahoma to help me pack up and put it all in a storage, still not knowing where I was going to go. This was a Friday and I had to leave by Monday. And I had a friend that we had been friends for a long time. And during the deepest part of my trauma with the divorce, I shut everybody out for about a 5-year period. I just shut everybody out. I couldn't deal with just the simplest of the mundane of tasks I couldn't deal with. And she was the only friend that stuck by and that kept coming in, kept trying to get a hold of me, kept trying to reconnect. And this particular Friday, she just kept on and kept on. And so I finally said, okay, fine, I'll go meet you for coffee. And it was on Friday, like around 1 o'clock. And so we're talking and I said something about my mom and she knew my mom and she goes, your mom is in town? Why? And I said, well, funny story. So I tell her and she goes, where are you moving? She goes, you moving back to Oklahoma? And I said, no, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. And I said, but I have to be out Monday. And she said, "That's it. You're moving in with me." And at that point, here was a woman that doesn't have any children, lives by herself, been a friend of mine for 15, at that time, about 15 years. And she took me, my two children who were in a lot of problems and a lot of strife from the marriage and the divorce, and my dog and my cat, and moved us in over the weekend to her home. And if that had not happened, if she hadn't been so compassionate to open her home, which she had never done before, to me and my lot, I don't know where, I don't know how my life would have turned out at that particular point. I probably would have gone back to Oklahoma. But so that sense of compassion that she showed and continues to show for me and my children is beyond anything I've ever experienced, honestly.
Mm, it's so beautiful. Wow. Thank
It
you.
made me cry. I didn't
Yeah,
even bring
that made me cry.
I didn't even
Wow.
know that was going to come up. Okay.
Oh, that was beautiful. It's so real. It happens to the best
Yeah.
and worst of times. I think we've all been there. And it's nice to know that people really do have this immense heart and compassion for others. So they look beyond their own. I mean, I'm sure it was difficult for her to open up her home to this brand new norm for her now, right? And
Well,
it's
yeah, she had to clean up 3 rooms in her house in less than 2 days, and, so that whole thing was just a gesture that is beyond anything I've ever experienced.
well, Miss Ray, you touched upon this already, but when you think of a change agent or champion for change, community builder, what are the overarching characteristics that come to mind for you?
Well, one, obviously, we're talking about it right now, is compassion. Compassion for human beings and the struggles that they're going through, and how they can, through their own experiences, a change agent, help change that person's life for the better. When you think about a change agent in general, you think about somebody that's going to make grandiose kind of differences in the world, and you can only do that one person at a time, one compassionate act at a time, and it increases as you go into a kind of sense that you feel just a longing and a desire to help those that have been through your struggle to find their self, their truth, their way in life, so that it's easier for them, whatever that easier means. So change agents to me are truly compassionate people looking to make a difference in this world that has gone so awry.
Yeah. All right. So, how do you give back to your community and to your world with your life experiences, your lessons learned? How do you go and shift other people's lives and help bring positivity back into their hearts?
A few things that I like to do because it was helpful for me is when I was in my dire, bad state kind of thing, I had to go to the food banks to get food from my kids. So that's not a, yeah, that's never a pleasant thing. So I always, if I have a little extra money, I buy a few bags of groceries and I take it to serve here in Manassas, Virginia, because that's where I went to get my food. And I have helped in the past, and I'm on their list to help women when they need to get off their feet, get on their feet and start looking for jobs, start trying to limit their negative thoughts. I like to give back to that organization. And there's a few other organizations called Seroptimus that I'm going to be speaking to and working with them in helping women just feel better about themselves. As women, we tend to allow everybody else's problems to become our problems, and ours just gets, smushed down, and we never address it because we don't think we're worthy enough to have our problems spoken about and talked about and dealt with. So that's what I really want to do, and help and give back to those women that have no other options like I did. I didn't have the money to go find things, to hire a coach, to do any of those things. And that's why I like to give the talks and go into places and do the free things, so that I can give back and give them a sense of anybody can do it. You just have to believe. And sometimes the stranger believing in you is the biggest thing.
Mhm. Wow. All right. So, do you have any words of wisdom, philosophy, motto, a quote perhaps that you can share with our audience? Something that inspires you and empowers you to keep going.
I'm a big Wayne Dyer fan, so you'll always hear me quote him. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Don't die with the music in you. I mean, there's tons of his quotes that I'll, rattle off at any given minute. But the one that really and I don't know whose it is, but the one that really gets me is she remembered who she was, and the world changed.
Mm, so good. I got
Yeah,
chills. I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
Okay, so what does a better world look like through your eyes?
A better world. You know, like I said, the world has gone so awry right now that a better world to me is people accepting people for who they are. Realizing, like I said before, that you're on your own individual journey. You have issues, demons that you need to slay, and issues that you need to overcome. So, understanding that that's what you're going through and not giving any finger pointing, blame, shame, guilt, regret, anything on that, just accepting that people are who they are, and when they're in need of help, help them if you can. But having that sense of understanding within yourself makes it so much easier to understand that within others. So acceptance of you, so that you can accept the world at large. I think, like I said before, it's one thing at a time. It's like that story where the little kids throwing the what do they call starfish back in the ocean because they're littered all over the beach, and the grandfather goes, "What are you doing that? You can't save them all." He goes, "But I can save one." And so save one person, and that will make the world a better place.
Fantastic. Well, how can people get a hold of you, connect with you, learn more about your work?
They can get a hold of me through my website, which is www.raeroach.com. I am on social media. All of my social media platforms are at Rae Roach. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, not real big on Twitter, but I am there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Just reach out on any of those platforms, and I will be happy to talk to you, happy to help out, happy to give you words of encouragement, little tidbits of information to help you overcome your self-limiting beliefs.
Great. Thank you so much for being a part of our global initiative and for being the community builder that you are.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. For those that are tuning in, thank you so much for following us as we try and reach this goal of 1,000 community builders this year, featuring their stories, their passions, their hopes for a better world. And if you're interested in nominating yourself or someone in your life that is creating some positive ripple effects, please go to nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Take care.